incredible number that they want to pour into making this giant transit system that's going to take people, ferry people around the communities, because somehow they can't afford it and the business owners want it. The business owners need it so they can get quality people to their jobs so they can hire people, right? Then why don't the business owners, if they need it so bad, pitch in their money? Because it's not their money that is being talked about. It's gonna come through a millage tax, which means my house is gonna get taxed for a transit system that business wants and that people who can't afford a car want. So you're telling me that we're not already taxed enough? We didn't get a major tax cut from the federal government, yet our state government, who's got potholes all over the place and who is spitting out money every place but the infrastructure, or very little in the infrastructure, which I thought that's what our taxes went for. You know, our taxes are supposed to pay for roads and the electrical grid, maybe the school system, infrastructure, right? Buildings and stuff. Yet they don't have enough money to fix the potholes, and they want a transit system that the business owners want. Why is it that the business owners want something, yet they never want to pay for it? We have a hockey arena that $250 million came out of the taxpayer fund. Taxpayer ain't getting any revenue back from the hockey arena. They're not paying extra to pay back that money. Now they want to invoke a new transit because it's the future, right? Future transit, put more people on it. I've seen the buses around here. They're pretty empty. And you want to get a transit system, a more efficient one? We don't have money for potholes. Yet that is one of the primary reasons why we pay taxes is for infrastructure. So our cars are getting damaged and we have to pay more on insurance to cover that kind of thing because they haven't figured a way to clean the snow off or to deal with the weather up here in Michigan, and I'm sure it's other states as well. And it just wreaks havoc on the roads. So we have that problem. We also have a bunch of construction going on to infrastructure that was so neglected that it's in disarray. We have a state, if we want to go down to Florida, they just build a new bridge there that collapsed down on people because something ain't right down there, some kind of error. So we're not doing our infrastructure any justice, yet here in Michigan, they want to add another layer of infrastructure, which would be a transit system. It's just a boondoggle. It's just going to be a waste of money. The taxpayers, the people who own houses, already pay enough in taxes. We didn't get that big of a break from the federal government like the corporations did. There's 14% reduction for the corporations. The taxpayer got 1 or 2%, somewhere in there. If the business owners want a transit system, then let all the business owners pay into the system. They've got to pay to keep up whatever transit they're providing. If they want it, if those quality workers are out there, if they think they can drag in people from the city of Detroit and other places that are poverty-stricken, they can drag in quality people from those areas if they think they can do this. See, this is all a facade. Yet the claim is that the business owners want this transit system to bring people from those areas to places that have jobs so they can fix those areas up. Well, then why don't they pay for it? Don't take it out of the millage. Don't take it out of my property taxes. We're already taxed enough, ladies and gentlemen. How much more do they want to bleed out us? You see, governments won't be happy until they take 100% of the money you bring home. They don't deserve any of this that they take already. We've got cities like Pontiac here in Michigan that have a city tax just for working there. Are you serious? City of Detroit's like that. A city tax. Something's wrong there where they have to tax your income so they can have whatever infrastructure or pension plans or whatever they need that money for. Here's tonight's random thought with John Lebang. You know, if all these politicians want to fund these projects that they are so involved in, why don't they start a GoFundMe page? In fact, maybe that's how we should fund the government from here on out. Just start a GoFundMe page for every single budgetary item there is. And let's see how much financial support the taxpayers would give these special interests. This has been a random thought from John Lebang. Tax money should only be used for some sort of infrastructure, that being roads, school systems, since we've taken that on as the government, because parents aren't responsible enough to teach their kids. I guess we don't want them teaching their kids. It's probably a good idea. I've seen how some of these parents are out there. They haven't saved a dime for their kids all these years. They've wasted it left and right. So why do you think their kids are so wasteful? Yeah, I get a kick out of that. Now I'm on to a whole different topic, but it all relates. It's just human beings aren't very responsible, and the ones that are responsible seem to be the ones that have to carry the weight for the herd. And it's an irritating and terrible thing that is pushed this country. That we take from everybody who's productive to support business who already makes a ton of money, the unproductive, and politicians who are taking care of the rest of their lives, especially the higher-ups who have security details paid for. You shouldn't have a pension from the government. That is public service, man. But there's never enough money to pay for that. So what do? We got to have this and this and this we want. We want these things. We don't want to take it from the people who want it to pay for it. Business wants a transit system. The poor people want the transit system so they can get to the jobs. Don't make the property owner pay for it when they've probably bought a car so they can get to work. They probably don't have enough money to do certain things. But they tighten their belt and they go to work and they do what they have to do to survive because they're productive. I love the argument. We've talked about it many times here. The argument that corporations give jobs to everybody. Well, we buy stuff from the corporation, so it's a symbiotic relationship. Those corporations wouldn't exist without the people who buy stuff. Yet when the corporations want something, they expect the people who buy stuff to pay for what they want. Like I said, the hockey arena down here in Detroit, $250 million of taxpayer money went to a private building so they could have a hockey team there and a basketball team because they knew it would generate tax revenue in the city of Detroit, which was in dire need of some kind of financial infusion. So they make the taxpayer pay for it. They make the taxpayer pay for the bottled water up in Flint. Even though it wasn't the taxpayer who screwed it up, we've been paying for the infrastructure. Why did it go bad? It went bad because crappy politicians don't know how to spend money properly, and they decide they want to pander to people, so they need money out of the government general fund to pander people because they don't want to pull it out of their own pocket. They don't want to give people money out of their own pocket. That would violate some kind of election rule. But then they can use government money, which is really taxpayer money, once removed, in an effort to bribe people into voting for them or keeping them in office longer, when that money should be going for infrastructure instead of special interests. And when they don't have enough money for that infrastructure that we've already paid into, that's part of the general fund, they come up with every reason to spend money out of the general fund. The taxpayer has to pay because some special interest wants something. Right now, it's the transit thing here in Detroit. But do we really need to fund another transit system here in the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan? When it's not the taxpayer who wants it, the taxpayer already has their car and they can get to work. They're the productive ones. So you want to take from the productive to give to corporations and to the non-productive. Maybe you can make them productive that way is what you're thinking, right? Maybe if you can have some way to bus them to these corporations that are handing out jobs at just above minimum wage. You know, that's a great working wage there. I'm not even a fan of minimum wage. But because we have a minimum wage, corporations pay everybody about the same, even though some people have more experience than others. Because we got to be fair. We got to be fair. It's no longer whoever excels, and whoever can excels just gets blown by the way. We can't have that. We can't leave people in the dust because they can't keep up anymore. We got to help them along. Because it's the right thing to do. The right thing to do. I know the right thing to do right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the end of the first hour. So I've got to thank you for listening and thank my affiliate stations for allowing us to be part of their networks. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you again. I can't thank you enough for listening. I might have been a little snarky tonight. Wasn't very news-orientated as far as just giving you the pure facts. A lot of opinion tonight. You come to expect something different each and every night. We're not a generic show here. The John Lebang Show is anything but generic. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, and for some of you, that's in the next hour, this is John Lebang signing off. Until we meet again.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space,